Okay. Y'all good?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. Peace and love, everybody. Um, Here again, another wonderful day on this beautiful planet. Very grateful that for that to start, just start with that. Polka Dot Rabbit podcast. Of course, if you haven't already, please follow, like, and share because we have another very powerful and important um, message today, podcast today. And I'm gonna go ahead and let the good sisters introduce who they are real quick, and then we'll go from there into the subject matter.
Okay. Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Candice. I am a tantric shaman and heart work practitioner. And I owner of Tantric MFT. I also do herbs, energy work, all that good stuff.
Hi, I'm Shontwel. I am Comedic Reiki, shamanic Tantra practitioner, heart work practitioner, owner of Shontwel Circle of Healing.
Okay, okay. So all right, so we'll get into it, and this is actually kind of a very for me it's kind of interesting, because on my tantra journey, these sisters are here. They've been pretty much they were I guess we're in the same um what is the same how would you describe the same um secret society. I don't know society or school or I don't know how the best way to say it,
I'm
but
trying to see what the same community.
you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying. I'm like
same community. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
community. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Keep it simple, you know. And I'm new to it, of course,
Yeah.
and in doing this, and like they've been doing this for years, and me, I'm just getting into it, and I had a lot of questions, and they were there for some of my my first experiences. So we were going to talk about the benefits of tantra, and I was like, I asked them and said, y'all got any, you got any questions? They're like, no, well, we know about it. How about you ask the questions? So I'm like, all right, I could do that because I got a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so first off, like I know we talked about this a little bit. Could you kind of just give a brief breakdown what tantra is, real quick?
I said it before, but I could do it again. So kind of, so basically, like I was saying last time, it is the use of not just it's chi energy,
Mm-hmm.
kundalini. It's a lot of different energies. So a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
people some kundalini, but it's way more than that. But it's also literally integrating ourselves to be the selves that we were meant to be the day that we got here, the day we're born, and the day that we will transition. So it's to
Mm-hmm.
get to that natal template, that natural whole self, and tantra assists in that process, but it also assists in healing, um, not just the bloodline of the people who came before you, but also the
Mm-hmm.
bloodline of the people who will come after you as well.
Mm.
So literally is changing, and restructuring and repairing and healing the DNA.
And it's interesting you say that because I remember when I was in when I came back from Haiti and doing my thing over there, and Joyce she was like, I remember my mama, she was like, I can't do certain things for 21 days,
Mm.
so I remember laying in bed and Joyce was there and she was just like, she said she saw smoke coming off me. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
she like saw smoke literally. She saw like smoke coming off me, and that's what she was like. Yeah, I can't mess with you. You know what I mean? Like literally, and and I say that because after when y'all worked with me, she was like when I was laying there again, she was like, something's off. Something's off. Not in a bad way. She was like, it's
Mhm.
like something like a heaviness was removed.
Mhm.
So yeah, so could you kind of go into detail? Because I'm still kind of wondering, like, I know you might not know what the smoke was, all that stuff, and when I came back to Haiti, but that whole thing, but maybe you do. But could you kind of talk about, what type of stuff that I could have possibly had removed, or because y'all noticed when I was on the table, I was gyrating and different things and gagging. What was that about?
Um, a lot of times during that process, we're removing different energies, different entities.
Mm,
It can be demons, it can be any type of negative attachment.
mm-hmm,
Also, what's happening is the clearing of blockages
mm-hmm,
as the energies are being removed, then your energetic flow is
mm-hmm,
being able to move a little bit more in a continuous flow. So your body is feeling that energy, and it's
Mm.
affecting your nervous system. So that's what the gyrating, and
Mm.
everything is. But the heaviness is normally some type of negative energy.
Yeah, because I noticed, like I told you before, it's like the more once I really, I guess, just started to embrace it, that's when everything started hitting me, and there was literally nothing I could do at all about it. It was like, there wasn't, I mean, I guess if I really tried to, what's the word, like go against it, which I wasn't, obviously, you know, um, I guess I could have really been like, I don't want to do this, or if I was real scared. But no, I was like, I knew, I trusted the process, and in doing that, it really, I'm gonna give you an example. I remember, like, just for the longest time, like growing up, I used to have like different, like, playing sports. Like if I ran a touchdown or something, I could feel like a nauseating feeling, like anxiousness or something like that, and I had that for years. And I learned how to calm it down through breathing, like calming myself. But and I swear to you, ever since we did that, I've been living that thing for my whole life, and it's not there anymore.
That's amazing.
Yep, and I've my whole life I've been living with that thing, but after I was, after, because I knew I was able to test it, because like when I go into when I like spar and stuff in martial arts, sometimes if it really gets intense, I could feel it. But like I was just there. This was probably my third week just of in doing intense work and sparring, and it didn't come up at all. Even in other situations, it's like it's gone.
That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
That's
You
great. No,
know.
it's amazing. Yeah, and then that work, and especially with heart work,
Hmm.
you're literally going into the heart and soul of people. So
Hmm.
you're literally going into the essence of a person. And so
Hmm.
when you're moving in that space, absolutely removing, like you said, negative entities,
Hmm.
attachments, all kinds of things. And so because sometimes that thing can be on you for lifetimes.
Yeah.
So that thing's it's like, oh, okay. Because usually it's rooted in child work. It's just a lot that comes
Yeah.
with that, not just the tantra, but also in the heart work as well.
Hmm. So when you could you kind of go, and when you talk about heart work, just for people that really don't know, what do you mean by that exactly? Or dealing with heart work?
So it's the hard work integration system. I know people are familiar with Master Don Green.
Hmm.
And basically the hard work, like I said, involves all things of it's so much beyond that, but the heart and the soul. So and oftentimes I always use this analogy that oftentimes people say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, but I
Hmm.
said the heart is where the soul resides.
Hmm.
So that is the space where we are literally working on a person's, like I said, the inner child, the natal template, all these things come from hard work, but it's so much more that I can only go but so far in
Yeah.
giving
We had
those.
to get Don on. We
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
get Don on. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think actually, me and Melissa, we talking about. I think we are. He's going to come on a continuous basis. So we're going to do something similar. So yeah, that's
good.
interesting. But I think about that because I know, I already know that from what I learned, you have different heart, you have spirit, you have your different parts of your heart, like the different four chambers, and
Mm-hmm.
there's spiritual counterpart to that as well. And and that's what I've learned in the past. And like I was told that, like, for people that are real nasty and negative, you know what I mean, they that can affect their heart,
Yep.
because
Sure.
I knew this one guy that he was always negative, always trying to, just a very negative person, and he did a lot of negative things, and literally, you know what I mean, he was at work one day, and his heart just stopped.
Mm.
It's like it was a steady decline, but it was like a consistent thing of just being like a negativity. And I'm wondering if that can assist, if that can help uh, uh, and assist, in somebody's health and demise.
The hard work,
Yeah.
or
What
just
was
the
it that?
Like having that heaviness in their heart, or
Yeah, yeah, just yeah. How can it affect them negatively, and how could it affect you positively on both sides?
um I'm trying to make sure I understand the question. But
Like
having the heaviness like in your heart,
Like
or
that, yeah, like a negative. You know how people they
Mhm.
die of a broken heart,
Yeah,
and like
yes,
different stuff
yes,
like
yes.
that.
Yes.
And other people, like, they can, they're happy and enjoy, and they can even heal themselves with that type of
Mhm.
energy,
oh
like
yeah,
that two dynamics.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
definitely.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Because you need to go. She can answer it. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so basically on the negative side, like you said, if you have it in your heart, it literally has, it depends on the person and what they see,
Mm-hmm.
but it literally, you can see physical manifestations of
Mm.
how it's impacting someone, just even by seeing substances. Sometimes might see mud or soot or just things. It's like, okay, this don't belong in here, you know what I mean? And so
Mm.
as a result, and even as a therapist, like, things can become psychosomatic. So I would also say energetically and spiritually, that
Mm-hmm.
things that you're impacted by in your energy body will be
Mm-hmm.
impacted in your physical body for sure. And so
Mm.
with the heart work, it also assists not just from an energetic space, but also physically, in all ways, to help with that. Because yeah, if your heart heavy, it's kind of like that whole thing with my eye. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you transition, your heart should be lighter than the feather. So your heart
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
literally be
Yeah.
light, like literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah. Yeah.
other, yeah, level. But I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. So, okay. So, interesting thing. I think there was a technique in which you like push it up towards the throat. Um, and well, no, okay, I guess you kind of already answered that about the blockages. Is that correct? Like when you're pushing energy through the throat and you're gagging, is that because you're breaking blockages? Is that what that is, or is that something a, s- a small portion of it?
um, I was looking at that one. Yes, it is a portion of it, but it's all different types of ways to remove the blockages.
Mm-hmm.
It's just according to how spirit is guiding you, to
Okay.
work. Sometimes, like for me, it's almost like I'm splitting something in half and kind of
Mm-hmm.
peeling it open like an onion and scooping it out, and then there are
Mm.
other times where you're finding the energy centers that are more balanced and you're kind of pushing the energy through to the unbalanced to clear out the blockages if it's enough there to do so. So it's different techniques and different methods that you can actually use to clear out the blockages.
even psychic surgery too, which
Yes.
good talk
Mm.
as well.
So, like, are you able to see? Like, are you able to see, like, when you have somebody on the table, are you able to kind of see from a mind's eye, kind of what's going on, or is it something that spirit leads you to? I mean, are there like symptoms and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like, how does that work?
For me, it's both. I can
Uh huh.
actually kind of see the energetic blockages. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like I'm looking at an X-ray machine almost, and
Mm.
as the energy is moving, I can see where it's stuck. I can see different colors. It's different shades. I can feel like the different textures. But it's all led by spirit. All of it
Mm-hmm.
is led by spirit. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's not a separation that I can see something and then spirit is directing me. That's
Mm.
everything is led by spirit for me.
Absolutely.
So my guides that work with me in doing this allow me to be able to see actually what's happening and where things are kind of stuck.
And that's what makes
Mm.
this style of Tantra shamanic, because it incorporates spirit. And so
Mm-hmm.
mine is somewhat, I actually had an experience today for the first time, which I couldn't see. I didn't. I feel and get led with spirit, and I know exactly where blockages are based on what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Today, though, for the first time, I didn't see it, but it was just kind of like I saw the body and I saw red circles where there were blockages.
Oh wow.
But that was the first time I ever saw something like that. I never see it. I just feel in here and get led by spirit. But like you said, they go hand in hand. That is spirit is leading, we're seeing and or feeling. Yeah.
Wow. So you can literally like look at them and like an X-ray. See, that's deep to me because I'm just like y'all. I remember Superman had X-ray vision, but good gracious, y'all, y'all, y'all are like good gracious. But at the same time, it's kind of like it makes perfect sense that being able to be connected like that and understand, have to know the science behind it, you know, because I saw one video in which Maciel was working on this one sister and like one excuse me, once I saw the full technique of what he did, I was like, it makes so much sense now because of knowing how the etheric how energy works etherically and being able to manipulate energy to heal. not even with hands on, with hands
Mm-hmm.
off,
Mm-hmm.
but like, so I mean, I'm could could you kind of talk about that aspect, please? Like, why, like, you can work on somebody, not even touch them, and still get a result.
Um, Basically, it's because of spirit. Like,
Mm,
we're allowed. For me, I'll speak for how the process works for me.
mm,
um my energy bodies, I can feel
mm,
them connect to the other person.
mm,
And so in that, it's almost like it feels like I'm inside of you almost. So I can
mm,
kind of feel what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. I can feel in my body where there's
Mm-hmm.
a ache, or where there's a pain, or where there's a
mm,
tightness, or and so as I'm working to remove that from my body, it's
Mm-hmm.
assisting the person that I have on the table.
mm,
Um for me, I typically tend to not touch unless spirit is guiding me to like remove something or to kind of brush something away.
mm,
Because I feel like the actual physical touch sometimes manipulates the energy in a different
mm,
manner. So I prefer not to touch, but I
mm,
can feel my energy connect to the other person.
mm,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And mine is somewhat similar. I don't do a whole lot of touching in my sessions myself, and sometimes people get disappointed about that. But listen, a lot can be done without touch.
right, right,
But basically, yes, similar, definitely spirit led, and even learning how to be very much just chilling in the energy, right? As
mm,
Sensei told me, that just being a knife in the energy's hand.
mm. That's
So
it.
whatever it
Yeah.
is, so you'd be chilling, eating some grapes, you'd be chilling, shoot, eating some chips, and the energy's still moving. You
Yeah.
know,
It's the intent behind
yes,
what's expected, or
yes,
not necessarily what's expected, but what
spirit,
spirit is being led to.
Mm.
absolutely,
So it's more the intent
yeah,
than
because it's about giving a person what they need.
me.
Yeah,
Okay.
energy
Because like we're talking a lot about energy, and like, could you if you're okay, I'm gonna give an example. If you're able to not touch somebody and get a a a a, a positive result out of that, that means that the energetic aspect of that has to be very powerful and profound,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And maybe people just they don't know understand that, so they just think you have to touch somebody to heal them. But could you kind of could you kind of talk about like could you kind of talk about how like how the importance of energy, you know what I mean? And as you as a person, and um how it would make more sense that energy would be more effective than touching, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's not to say like is there anything wrong with touching, right? Because I
Yeah.
know some people they do require some
Mhm.
touch.
Mm,
Because that's where you got your conscious colors and all of the sensuality. I don't know, they got different titles, but they incorporate a lot of touch or even tantric massage, right?
mhm,
But I feel like it not that it takes away from because we need the physical, right? But I feel like people when expecting that
mhm.
can underestimate the power of energy and what that
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, the
Mhm,
touch, the touch, the touch, which is
mhm,
great. Yes, it's not minimizing touch. It's not saying one is better than the other. It's just saying let's give the energy a chance too.
mhm,
Because some people do go into an expectation like, oh, it didn't touch me like that. But it's like, but did you get the energy a chance?
mhm,
But it's this
mhm.
assumption like it's if it's not touch, it's not gonna
Exactly.
do anything.
And for me, particularly, I don't always care to be touched. So I
Mhm,
recognize that other people don't care to be touched. So
mhm,
if I'm able to truly connect to the energy and give the same result without having to physically touch you, then
mhm.
I feel like it's more beneficial,
Mm-hmm.
because if I'm trying to focus on where I need to touch you, then for me that means that Shontwel is trying to guide this session.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha.
if spirit is telling me, okay, touch this person here or
Mm-hmm.
move here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then that lets me know that
Yep.
spirit is guiding the session,
Mm-hmm.
and what is meant to be happening is actually happening,
Mm-hmm.
and not
Mhm.
me concocting what
Yep.
I feel like should be going on in this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
To me, it's interesting because just knowing the different parts of the body, like the light body, the etheric body, and the physical body, like it seems like the other two, the higher two, are key components and almost more important and more powerful than the physical because it I could be wrong, but it just seems like the physical is like the lower of it all, but everything else is the higher aspect of it in which am I on the same kind of the same path or what, how would y'all like
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like,
Clear
but
that up for me, please.
yeah, because you got like you said the energetic pieces, right? And it's kind of like um okay. It's kind of like you pull it. It starts in the energetic and it pulls out into the physical. So it
Mhm.
starts there and it gets impacted in the physical. So it's
Mhm.
not to say one is less than the other, but there are
Mhm.
levels to it. Absolutely levels to it. So
Mhm.
literally having to pull things from the spiritual out into the physical in order to
Mhm.
really align some things, especially when it comes to health or,
Mhm.
even mental health. You know what I mean? A lot
Mhm.
of those
Mhm.
things. But energetically, what's happening there definitely impacts what's happening in the physical. And it's times like in things that I do see that I can tell somebody may have like joint issues or hip issues or
Yeah.
because they'll see energetically. I can see if their body is discombobulated, like if they walking kind of weird, like energetically, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard. But seeing
Yeah.
it, it's like, oh, something up with their shoulders or something up, it just depends on the person and what's going on there. And it's
Yeah. I
yeah.
noticed. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chantal. Did you have anything?
No, no, no. Go ahead.
Oh, I I just noticed recently because I always knew this. As a melanated person, I love going in the sun, and it makes me feel a certain way. You could feel it like charging when the sun hits you, like, oh yeah.
Mhm.
But most recently, like I told you, I was laying out for a minute when we went out, and I was in the sun pretty much all day, right? And there's something that I noticed after the fact of inside of me. It's like if I had a battery and it was on 25%, once I got in the sun, it felt like it went up to 75%.
Yes,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Like overall as my body, and I'm like, damn, I got more energy. I feel, looser, you
Mhm.
know, and like, you know, is what is the importance, if you will, about like the energy in sun with the different bodies?
Um, it's basically what you said. It's like
Mhm.
recharging. It's
Mhm.
re-energizing. Um, we receive updates and upgrades and everything through the light, through the pineal gland, through the light. And the more sun we get, the more our bodies are regenerating themselves and going back to our normal natural blueprint,
Mhm.
our natal blueprint.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um, I actually did some sun gazing earlier today,
Mhm.
and I had an amazing meditation and got a lot of downloads from Mama Water because I was out by the river. So it's healing.
Mhm. Mhm.
I personally feel like the sun is actually the best medicine for us because it
Yeah.
naturally heals our bodies,
Mhm.
our energetic bodies, our
Mhm.
physical body. It naturally heals us.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I showed y'all earlier, I was all peeling and stuff afterwards, but it's like after my old reptilian skin fell off, you know,
Right.
my old that skin fell off, like, and my new skin, and I'm like, damn, this is like you said, it's like a new part of my physical being. It's like out with the old, in with the new. You know what I mean? That never ceased to amaze me. Now since I'm starting to learn the science behind the sun and how it's connected melanated people, and also know just the cycles that come along with time in which the sun is giving more energy. And because right now, just as a on a scientific level, the sun is booming. It's shooting up all these rays, and it's like it, you know symbolically speaking, when I see that, it's like the sun, Ra, is waking his children up. Like, all
Yeah.
right, y'all been asleep for quite some time now. Now wake up. You know what I'm saying? Now, come on. Let's
Mhm.
get it moving. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. And it's just it's amazing. Again, I have to say this is amazing time um, to be in. Bump all that. That, what do you call it? The fear mongering, all kind of crazy stuff.
Mhm.
Nah, this is our time to shine. You know what I'm saying? Pun
Absolutely.
intended.
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
so yeah. So but okay. So let's say I'm one of your clients, all right? Okay, I come to and you can answer this individually. All right, I come to you. We have a session, right? After the session, you're like, listen, Zoe, you got to come back in a month or 2 weeks because we got doing so and so and so and so. Like, could you give me like an example of like if I'm a brand new client and kind of like what's the word I'm trying to use the time frames in which I mean I know that can be different, but like could you
Mhm.
give scenarios of like how you would tell somebody like their scheduled sessions type deal?
Um, well, honestly, for me, I don't typically tell a person if they need a certain amount of sessions or
Hmm.
when they should come back. I always
Okay.
allow them to allow their spirit, to
Hmm.
guide them when it's time for them to come back, because it's
Hmm.
not for me to say what's still happening.
Okay.
We know that the energy work will last anywhere from 3 to 7 days sometimes after a session. So your body is still processing,
Mm.
sometimes the things that you need to happen in that one session sometimes, and as things are processing, then you can see your way clear where you don't necessarily need another session again for a couple months. But if
Mm.
I'm telling you, well, you
Mhm.
need to be here in 2 weeks, then
Mhm.
that's not
Mhm.
spirit guiding what's happening
Gotcha.
for you. That's
Mhm.
Shontwel guiding what's happening for you. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
yeah. I see what you're saying.
wouldn't do that.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Mhm. Yeah, mine is similar. Like sometimes people's ancestors will come through and be like, "Hey," 'cause when they ask,
Yeah.
particularly when they ask, because
Yeah.
I don't say a regime like, "Oh, you need to come every few weeks," but mine is like they can order packages. So you
Mhm.
got packages of like five, depending on
Hmm.
the package that they order. So they schedule it whenever they feel the need to schedule it. And
Gotcha.
like
I got
sometimes
you.
they said they will ask like, "Hey, how often do you think I should do this?" And then I'll pull from spirit and say what one of the ancestors or one of the main spirit guys said, like, hey, it would be best practice if it was like once a month or something. But once again, like you said, to your point, is whatever the person feels led and they spirit to do
Hmm.
it. Ultimately, that's what's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And even asking about intention for the session. Like, I haven't done that in a while now. I think about it, but I ask about what are your intentions? What do you want? What are you hoping for this? Not
Yeah.
saying expectations,
Hmm.
but just like what are you why are you even doing
Hmm.
it? What are you hoping for? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But not to get stuck on that. It's just from a place of just making sure that it's meeting them where they are and what they need and what spirit feels they need.
It's it's interesting because just even me personally, after the session I had with y'all, it's like I'm still, even though that was a couple months ago, I'm still um getting comfortable with like the new energy that's flowing with my body right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I'm still um experimenting on different aspects of the way I feel, compared to the past, you know, and it's like it's interesting because I guess it's because I'm a little bit more aware, you know what I mean, of you know of what's going on, but it just seems like it's just it's for me it's such a profound tool to utilize for your own being, and it's something
Mm-hmm.
that for me it's like right now I'm like once I do this, it's going to go to a whole new. The next time we do it, it's going to go to a whole new level.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like if you like you different doses. If you do microdose or do mushrooms, it's like you already
Mm-hmm.
know if you're moving up, it's going to
Mm-hmm.
go new level. And it's like now it's kind of like I think I wouldn't be able to embrace it and better because I would be able to be more relaxed and not be like, oh, what's going on? But
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
and in doing that, I feel as though even having even more effect. So I have to say that this is one of the most life-changing experiences I've had in my life. Seriously, I say it again, like you're dealing with y'all, the whole situation. Because it's different when you all, you're in a class, you just learning stuff you see in the videos and stuff. You're like, yeah, okay, that looks cool. But when
Yeah.
you doing, like you laying on the table, you doing the you like, you know what I'm saying, on the shaky wakey, you like, yo, this shit is
Shaky.
for real. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, and
You
it and
try to
it's
make sense of it.
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So for me it's amazing. Of course, it's like many other things in my life. Number one, I'm so grateful. At least I found it before I moved. And while I'm alive. And
Mhm.
number two is I'm happy to be connected to such a group of people that are so knowledgeable to be able to do this. You know what I mean? It's like you know, you think that like I said, perfect example, like you said about mental health earlier. You know, you might be going through a lot of stuff, but if you don't even know you have a resources like a therapist to help you, you think you're stuck like Chuck, you know. Then you meet that therapist
Mhm.
and you sit down with her for some good sessions, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
And
That's
you're
just.
like, "Oh, damn, that what she says right," or, "I can see clearer now." You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
now this is the type of thing, and that's what I was telling you earlier. What Teresa was saying when she was just saying, it is so important. She was like, it was just so important that our people know about this and that's out here is because this is what we used to do back in the day. You
Mhm.
know, and it to me it's just amazing because it's like it's all coming full circle. You know,
Mhm.
you know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I'm gonna keep on saying that. It's all coming full circle, and it's just such a beautiful thing, and it makes it makes all the metaphysical and all the spiritual stuff that you learn and you hear about, it makes it more tangible and realistic.
Mhm.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's real. It's definitely real. And yeah, all that stuff. Like even, trust when I got to it, I am very, very analytical, very pragmatic in my head a lot. So for me, listen, I was trying to make sense of like, why is this happening? What's happening? So it took me a minute before I actually started feeling uh the stuff. My face would just itch. So I'm like, okay, what's happening? Ain't nothing happening. So it was just me making sense. But when it happened, it was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
it's it's definitely a real thing, and so people try to make sense of a thing or try to have you explain it, and I always say you can be shown much better than you can be told because it's
Yeah.
different for everybody. Everybody has a
Mhm.
unique, different experience, and oftentimes we share not to even have expectations because the
Mhm.
moment you do that, you're gonna, you know, you don't
Maybe
want to
miss
disappoint yourself.
what's happening
Yes.
because you're expecting something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's amazing to me, it still is. And just like I don't want to go too far off topic. And the only reason I'm going to say this is because I'm speaking to y'all too, and we shared this experience together. And like after the fact, you know, and y'all can actually kind of talk about the connection, all this. That I think that'd be a good idea as well because it still is all connected. But you remember afterwards, when Joyce came by, we were sitting talking about the different things we were talking about, and I've seen y'all do this before numerous occasions. It's like spirit hits you, and I've seen this, like I was in Haiti, you know what I'm saying? People getting possessed in the trance and they just be spitting it. And it's like, how is it kind of the fact that once you're open, and you're just like an open vessel for um oh look, Don just jumped. Don, we were talking about you earlier. Don just jumped on. But yeah, what's the science behind that? Because I one thing I know, and they even said it in Haiti. They were like Haiti, I should say. They were like, females. It's easier for females to get mounted or possessed or get that. You know what I'm saying? So what's the he's laughing. Uh,
He said,
uh,
what's the process? Listen,
yeah, yeah. Well,
it ain't
what?
it just
it ain't no
it ain't no
process.
process. It's either you could do it or you can't. Because the
Yeah.
way it happened for each of us was
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, I'm big on having permission.
Okay.
So I work with my ancestors close enough to know that if there's an energy coming in that actually wants to embody me. I don't particularly use the term possess because for me, if something possessing me, that means it's taking over me, and I don't really have a choice. But if something is embodying, then we are in agreement about what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So if an energy comes in and needs to actually embody, then I know that it's okay because it's already gone through my protection, my team that's there to protect me and cover me. Um, what happened? Did we lose him? It's still going.
Yeah.
So it's just being a willing participant,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
um,
I mean,
knowing
I
that
know. I know there has to be a reason why specifically, like it is a female thing. Is there? I mean, what do you know? Is the reason
No,
why it's
men can
easier for?
embody.
Yeah, men
Men
can
can embody
embody.
too. It's kind of like levels to. So you got. I don't even want to start explaining that process, but you got psychics, you got mediums, and you got oracles. So typically, because psychic mediums can embody.
Embody.
However, you could be an oracle, a medium, and a psychic, but you can be psychic, not necessarily a medium or oracle. So, typically oracles and psychics, but it's levels to it, can embody beings. And oracles can typically channel and embody higher powers, divine powers,
Mm,
angels, things like that. So, but that's just a gift or an ability. I think and for a lot of people, it's something that has to come online as well.
Yes.
But my experience, I didn't know about boundaries in the way that Shontwel learned about it. So for me, my
hmm
first time, I got embodied by four, I think, different energies,
hmm
6 total in one weekend. That was my
hmm
first time ever in my life having that experience. So that wasn't
hmm
something I trained for. That wasn't
hmm
something I studied. It just happened. And
hmm
then over time, learning how to have control boundaries with spirit, because
hmm
spirit needs boundaries too,
hmm
in regards to how you hold the energy. And like you said, working with the ancestors directly, that they are the front line before anything can enter
hmm
and get their approval and authority. Because you don't want just anything coming up in there.
Exactly. Because it will.
Listen,
Yeah.
you need boundaries.
So somebody that, let's say somebody off, somebody like I refer somebody to y'all that's kind of new. I just said, just listen, go, go talk to them, see what they're about. I promise you, it'll work. So what's the, like, a conversation for like a new person? How does that look like for somebody that might just be like, might not know how much information, but they know they're in a good place, a good safe place to get some healing. How does that conversation look like?
Mm.
um, a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
I allow them to ask whatever questions that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we do. Well, I always try to do a consultation because
Mhm.
I need to see if my ancestors are first going to allow me to work with this person
Yep.
to see if
Mm,
I'm going to be able to assist them. Because just because somebody comes to me doesn't necessarily mean I have the capability to assist them. I may need to refer
mm,
them out to somebody else.
mm,
But once I actually have a conversation, and typically before the conversation happens, I already have my yes or no, either I'm going to be able to or I'm not. But once I actually speak to them and I can kind of get a more direct connection to their energy,
mm,
then I can sense kind of what's needed, but I still also allow them to verbally tell me kind of what's happening, why
mhm,
they're seeking me, or what is it that they feel like I can do, or what is it that they're looking for. And then I kind of go from there. But I do ask that they ask questions,
mhm,
any question, because this is a different experience. Like, I'm actually going to be in your energy field. So I need to know that what I'm doing is actually going to be of assistance to you and not just
mhm,
me, because, hey, this person got referred to me, so let me put them on the table. No, I need to know that I'm actually going to be able to assist you. So I need to have a clear understanding of what's happening for you mentally, emotionally, physically, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and that is important, especially mentally, physically, emotionally, all those different things. And people, because a lot of times we get a lot of first timers, even when we do the work together at that one event we had back in March. But I think pretty much everybody we had never had any type of energy work whatsoever.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it said a lot about the fact that they entrusted us enough to even want to consider it,
mhm,
because it is a vulnerable position to be in. And so it is answering a lot of their questions. Because usually they do, because it's like, hey, it's a foreign concept. Like, how do I make sense of the thing? And we try our best to explain it the best we can for them to understand.
yeah,
And do their own research, because I often like to share what, at least the type of tantra we do, what it's not.
Exactly.
Versus what it is, because like I said, a lot of times people go with the and which is nothing wrong with that. Once again, the tantric massage, like more that route, which is also very much a form of tantra,
Yes.
but to show that this is kind of what I don't do here,
Yes.
like
mhm,
the more neo tantra type stuff is
yeah. I got you. So like you look at somebody and you see that lady Reagan off the Exorcist inside him, you'd be like, oh hell no, you got to go to the Chief Bula Bula. I ain't wrestling with
Sometimes, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? Come
Let's
on, get
go
on
for
the
the
table.
challenge.
You
Yeah.
know?
you. Yeah. Okay, I see. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like
Sometimes it's nerve wracking though when my ancestors had me prepared, had a now that chicken leg is the tall tails. I was like, oh Lord, it's about to be, but when they have you gear up behind
Oh, okay,
the
I see. You
idea of
already
like
know.
this
I
about to
got you.
be a
Session
I
starts.
got you.
situation.
You already,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But
But
so what is the and that I'm happy you brought that up. So, you know, the challenge, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you go through it, you beat up Reagan from The Exorcist, you throw out the window, and then after the fact, you know what I'm saying, you're like, yo, how does that make you feel after the fact? Like,
Crazy.
drained.
yeah,
Like, makes me feel drained. It makes me feel crazy.
yeah.
It makes me feel like
So
I need to be sitting in a room talking to somebody sometimes about some
yeah,
things.
yeah, I can imagine.
But I also recognize the fact that because I have the desire to question myself, to
Yeah.
ensure that this is a reality. I don't
Hmm.
have a desire to hide what's happening. Like, I
Mhm.
actually need to verbalize to another person, hey,
Mhm.
this is my experience. What do
Yeah, yeah.
you know? Even though I know it was spirit led, just some of it, like, you just really can't make these things up. Like,
Literally.
Yeah.
it's just,
Mm-mm.
you just
Yeah.
can't. You
Mm-mm.
can't make them up. You
Hmm.
can't make up the sensations that you feel in your body. You can't
Hmm.
the response that you have in your body to
Mhm.
Hmm.
what's happening, and you're watching this person on your table respond to what's happening in your body.
Yeah.
Like, you can't make that up. You know what I'm saying? You
Mm-mm.
can't make up when a person wakes up off the table and they tell you exactly what you just saw. They had the same experience. Like, you can't make that up. And the more we work in this, and the more experiences we have, and the more individual experiences we have, we understand that this is a very powerful and very real thing that's
Mhm.
happening.
Absolutely. And that's why community is so important because listen, I need to make sure I'm not tripping that,
Mhm.
hey, in texting, we trust our text thread can be like a movie.
Right.
Yeah. I bet.
All
Like,
the stuff. It's
look at
like,
me, let me tell
yeah,
you
I
what
can
happened.
imagine. I can
yeah.
imagine.
And you would think it was like, yeah, right, that didn't happen. But no, it's like literally all the synchronicities is just kind of like, yeah, this actually happened. It literally.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, and people, like you said, people responding on the table to the thing that's happening is quite remarkable, And so even with the past life regressions and all
Hmm.
seen as like we did one,
I'm seeing
we
the
all
same
see the
thing.
same thing just from a different angle. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah.
fascinating. So yeah, that community is so important because at least you have a space that is safe, that feels freeing, where you don't have to feel like I'm losing it.
One thing that I thought that was very interesting, and of course, in retrospect, because I was in class, I kept on saying when we were going through, all the classes, and when I would learn something, I would go back to our experience, all the experience I had. So I'd be like, oh, so that's why so and so happened. That's why, and he was like, yeah. Um, but one thing I noticed about y'all too is
Yeah.
is like when y'all came in a room and it was time to get business, y'all like immediately went in like in a trance,
Yeah.
and y'all were just sitting there. And I was just like, because I was I've seen, like I said, I've seen stuff like that happen before in different things, um, but it was different with y'all. I don't know how to explain it because it was like it's like it looked like y'all like preparing
Mhm.
to go sing a song or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it wasn't, like before a big concert, but it wasn't.
Mhm.
It was something you controlling, but it was still almost like a controlled trance. I guess that's the only
Mhm.
way I can look at it in my eyes, you
Mhm.
know. But then, and you can talk about before and after, Wilson, but because then you went through all that, and the after part is, what I'm saying? I'm thinking that everything's all good. Everybody would dap every each other, you know what I'm saying? Go home. Nah, but you over there sick as a dog, thrown up in a basket, and you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and and I'm just
Yeah.
like, and of course immediately I think of the Green Mile, the whole thing of the
Mhm.
Green Mile.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
immediate thing that comes to my
Yeah.
mind. So could you kind of talk about like that process? Because to me, I was making my own,
Yeah. Yeah.
sense out of it all. But I want to hear you. I want to hear y'all talk about it.
You wanna go first?
Yeah, because we even go, our stuff be down to the T where we actually have to wear. Like we be on Amazon, like, okay, what Spirit said, boom. Like, so even our outfits are is led by Spirit. So we are preparing literally before like that particular event. Yeah, literally weeks. Yeah, sometimes months, or even, the setup, and Spirit will tell us. Sometimes we don't get no information till that day. Right in the door. This what y'all got to do. And it, the setup be real, but it's me, I'm the scary one. So usually I'll be like, what we about to do? But purposely, sometimes they'll wait until right in that moment. And then it's like a different type of time. We walk in, we in that zone. It's Spirit, and even so much so to the point where now our bodies, we're in control of our body, but Spirit is literally leading our body to do things.
Yeah. Y'all look very similar to some of the ceremonies once the drums start kicking in IET, when it looked very similar to that same. It was very similar. That's what I'm saying. It was different, but it was similar. um in which um it's hard to explain the difference that I saw, but it was very, I guess maybe more so, like I said, it was more a controlled thing, because some people catch they catch that Holy Ghost, boy, they were off to the races, boy. You know what I'm saying? But but at the same time, that's what Spirit led. It's no different than, you go to the church, they got the Holy Ghost, they doing backflips and elbow drops off the top ropes, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, so but it was interesting because y'all were for somebody that first did it, you're the calmness and the confidence, and just the way that you were leading, just like leading the whole thing, and it was a very smoothness to it. All of y'all, even Comfort, yeah, man, all y'all were just kind of just like y'all been doing this for a long time, and just like, you knew what to do, and it was very that right there was very impressive. I'll just say, on my end, especially as a new person, I know what was really going on, you know, because technically, truth be told, is I wasn't even really supposed to be on the table. Like, I was like, I'm the type of I'm the type of cat, like, I'm like, I'm gonna try this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. Like, you ain't gonna raise your hand. All right, that's me next. You know what I'm saying? I'll take your turn, goddamn. So that's that was my I'm still, as you can tell, I'm still kind of processing it all. You know what I mean? Because I'm yeah.
We're always processing. So yeah, we get it. But it's for us, it's really because we've already been working with the energies. They've already been preparing us for kind of what's gonna, like, we don't always know exactly what's gonna happen, but we have some general idea of what's coming due to how they prepare us. If our diets change, we know that we're about to hold some really major, energies. If our sleep patterns change, if our energy changes, like sometimes we get super giggly, sometimes it's more like this real serious type energy. But they've already been coming and prepping us and preparing us, so we feel them when they're coming in. So it's like, okay, we walk into a room and we can literally feel them, like, okay, let's get busy. And so a lot of times we're already embodied when we come into a space, but due to, like, for me, my energy is more of a protector type energy. So now when I come into this room, all of my protectors that are in this room with me, we're kind of like, okay, what's happening? Let's get this room set up. Let's get, make things happen the way that it's supposed to be happening, So, but it's already something. It's not, sometimes they will kind of, and even in that, like, I want to say they catch us off guard, but when we stop and think about it, they've been preparing us for days, but it just seems to us like this random, we walk into this setup type situation, but as soon as it happens, you immediately know,
like y'all prepared.
That's what,
like, y'all like Ghostbusters walking into like a room, and you're like, all right, like, they gave it a call about, someone might be here. You don't know what it is yet. Exactly. But as soon as it happens, you got your gun out. And
it'd be real. Yeah. And even
I can see that.
With the people stuff, like, because it got to go somewhere. So we
Yeah,
usually are
yeah,
the
yeah.
vessel, and that's why sometimes if they tell us to wear, I know if I got to wear black. I already know what the deal is. I'm used to.
Yeah, I got you. I
So
got
or dark color because they absorb, versus white,
you.
which is
Hmm.
kind of bounces off, I guess, to
Exactly.
some degree. But it
Hmm.
has to go somewhere. And so if you're a vessel, we usually are, we're over in the cut somewhere, throwing up in the trash bin. So it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or coughing a lot because coughing is also a
Exactly. It's all,
manifestation of.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What's up with the coughing? Yeah, that's interesting you said that because whew, I thought I had strep throat as much as I was coughing up in there, man.
Yeah.
I was.
It's like the release of the different blockages, the release of the
Hmm.
energy, it's just a continual releasing of things from your body. And I mean, it's different for everybody,
Mhm.
Yeah,
but you were actually expressing, so they were telling me that it was like a release. That's, my hands just kind of
that makes
started
sense.
doing what they're doing. So they were
Mhm.
Yeah.
like relieving stuff, pulling stuff out,
Hmm.
clearing stuff out of your energy
Yeah.
and just, kind of sending it out. But sometimes the energies are so big, like we don't
Mhm.
want to just
Mhm.
release it in a room, so it
Mhm.
absorbs into our bodies, and then
Mhm.
that throwing up
Ah.
is us
Yes.
containing it. And
Yes.
so she's
Absolutely.
really big at that, like she's
Yeah.
releasing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
all of this stuff, because sometimes people don't want to release those things because they're afraid, so it's
Mhm.
easier to kind of just hand it off to somebody and
Yeah.
like,
Do it on their behalf.
do it on their behalf.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you. So like dealing with y'all, like personally, like when I talk to y'all, like, because it's like y'all have a certain gift for like divination or seeing. Now, is it? Do you normally the spirit just hit you, or do you use tools as well, or it just hits you and you roll with it?
Um, I don't typically use tools. I try to
Mhm.
learn to use tools. I'm learning to use tools. But for me, like I've always had this gift for as
Yeah.
long as I can remember. Like I was able to see different things. I didn't always necessarily share it because, people look at you. Well, for a minute I did because I thought everybody had the
Mhm.
same gift. But as I
Oh.
got older, I realized everybody didn't have the same,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you
Mhm.
know. But I've always just been able to see. Like I've always had this knowing that I wasn't alone, and
Mhm.
I've always what I thought was my vivid imagination, but I've always journeyed like just as far as I can remember. So it's just always kind of been there for me. So I
Hmm.
never really needed tools. Like I
Mhm.
love the tools.
Mhm.
I love the tools. Like,
Hmm.
but and sometimes like I'm kind of like I want to know how to do that, type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I've just always had the sight, like I've always been able to see, so I never really needed a tool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
See, for me
Yeah.
was yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Go
No.
ahead.
You go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I thought you might have had a question. I don't want you to lose your
No. No.
question.
No. No. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm listening.
But no, no. I was gonna say that I started off with pendulums because I had a dream about using them, but I really realized I was using it as a crutch because I really didn't use them anymore. But I also had similar story, but the difference is I said this a million times. I ran from mine because I was traumatized as a kid. I saw all the time and I was like, I don't want none of this. So I shut it down because then I didn't get
Hmm.
believed. Like I was told I was dreaming. And so I just had a family member and she and I, and even my sister too, but um she was the only one that really believed me because she saw it too. And as I got older to this day, and one day I did it one time, but sleep without a TV on. I don't sleep without a TV on in the room because I always hear at night.
Yeah.
So now as an adult, I still do it because it's out of habit and because it's like I'm not gonna be able to sleep because I'm gonna hear somebody whispering, I'm gonna hear some footsteps, I'm gonna hear something.
Hmm.
But always seeing is just like you said, a part of the thing. But it's just for me, it was a matter of just facing it and tapping in. And then the pendulum for me was a start for me to just tap in and trust in myself. And what I'm hearing is actually what I'm hearing. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. That no, that's interesting because I just like there. You know, Ifa, Vadun, they all have their different techniques
Mhm.
of divination. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's just different. It's interesting because sometimes you'll see people like y'all, that experience with y'all in which it just, here's the answer, you know, here it is, period, point blank, blase, 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 bam. Other people they go to the thing, they throw the shells, they throw the things, out, and they same result. It's just that
Mhm.
again, you use the tools. You know what I mean? So it's just interesting to see the different forms of divination, and
Mhm.
because it might take a little longer sometimes, but as long as they're doing it right, it's the same end result.
It's the
Exactly.
same thing,
It's the
yeah.
same.
And
It's
Yeah.
the
sometimes it's
same.
just getting downloads and channels, like
Mhm.
even in sessions or something, like just start channeling. And after the sentence is done, I'll get a little quiver down
Yeah.
my spine, like that wasn't me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it'll
Yeah.
just come
Yeah.
out of the
Yeah.
blue sometimes. I mean, you feel it coming before it comes, but
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
slow.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
several
Yeah.
different divination.
I don't know. I don't know if it was in all honesty, it was never really strange to me seeing any of it. I think because like when I was when I was learning some of this stuff, um when I was learning the foundation I had again and learning this kind of stuff, it didn't make me scared or spooked out
Mm,
about any of it because I was more so intrigued, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of how it would happen from the stuff I read.
Mhm.
You know what
mm,
I mean? Because I'm like, I read this, I know it's there. Now let's see it. Let's see how it works. You know what I mean? And of course, not being religious or not being dogmatic. That
mhm,
has and just understanding that there is a spiritual world, all that kind of stuff. And being open to that as well. Um, so it again, I'm just happy I had a I thank you for all my great master teachers that gave me the information to where I am today, in which I can embrace anything that's really come to me and not be like freaked out or the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Because even when I was telling you about that, the thing I saw at the foot of the bed. Remember I was telling you about that?
mm,
Like obviously it shocked me, but at the
Yeah.
same time it's like I knew there was something behind it.
Yeah.
And I didn't really make assumptions as to what it was. I
Mhm.
just asked questions that people knew more than me. You know what I mean? So you
Yes.
know, so
mhm,
it's different when you're at least somewhat informed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's different, especially when you have experiences and you're alone. You know,
mm,
Yeah, exactly,
um,
exactly.
for me, I just learned to embrace them.
Yeah.
So whoever came, I just felt like I just had this knowing. If somebody was there, it was okay. Even before I knew to set up my ancestor altars,
Mhm.
everything. Like I always had this grandmother that was with me all the time, and I
Mhm.
always knew she was my grandmother. I've never met her.
Mhm.
I was actually an adult, and it was only a couple years ago when I found out who she actually was. But the very first time she came to me, I knew she was my grandmother. So I knew if there was something else there with me, that
Mhm.
it was okay because she was there. So I learned to kind of
mhm,
embrace, the different
mhm,
energy
Yeah.
spirits, and learn to sit and hold conversations and figure out what they needed. And
mhm,
I got a thing where I don't want to be controlled by anything. And
Yeah. Yeah.
things
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
scare me, I feel like it controls me. So
Mhm.
I had to kind of learn to come out of my shell to have a
mhm,
conversation with this thing that's here at the foot of my bed. I had a similar
Yeah.
experience.
mhm,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And figure out what it needed and what it wanted. And I
Mhm.
also, like I remember from a little girl, my grandmother told me, and it always stuck with me. And I never know why she told me that. If I heard something call my name and I didn't recognize the
mhm.
voice, don't
Don't listen.
answer.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
You know,
answer.
that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
so I always took that into consideration. Like before I respond or anything, I take a pause and see how it feels in my body.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting you said that because over in the island they said that that's funny you said that because they said when like on nights when you go out and you know that's what happens a lot is that her voice is out there
mhm.
saying your name and it sounds like it's calling you, but you're
Yeah,
like, what the hell is that voice? And they're like, yo, they were like, if you hear that, go the
don't
opposite way.
go the
You know,
opposite
Mhm,
way. Yeah.
yeah, because I saw a situation I was told over there, and they were like, this firsthand experience for this individual, and they were like, they saw all that, and then out came this black dog that just sat down right in front of
mhm,
where we're across the street, and was just like,
mhm,
wasn't doing anything except just sitting there staring at him.
mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
don't call. Yeah, yeah. My
yeah,
sister told me that story a while, like when I was a kid, saying
Mhm.
don't listen because she said she knew somebody. This person answered to the call and they
Mhm.
had a heart attack
Yeah.
the next day.
Mhm.
yeah. I,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna share this with you. I think I don't think I've told y'all about this, but since my dad passed, and Joyce, she's open. She's always been as long as I know her, right? But he always comes to her. Ever
Mhm.
since, he's come to me a couple times in the dreams, but just briefly, calling my name, and I knew it was his voice. I knew when no, when no werewolf nothing. I
Yeah,
knew it was, it was, yeah, I felt the connection even afterwards. I felt good and everything, but well, why do you think that is? You think just because she's more open, he sees that on the side, he's kind of like, all right, well, we can, she can.
it could be a number of things. It could
Uh huh.
be his relation to her, like
Hmm.
just because he's your father,
Yeah,
right?
my father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's your father. He may know her in a different realm, you know.
Mm.
So he may
Okay.
recognize her energy a little bit better. So he's able to express himself
Mhm.
differently because it doesn't take as much energy for him, because he's
Yeah, I
in
see.
a
That makes sense.
stage of getting to be where he's going to, I hate to say end up, but that's kind of what he's saying right now, like where he's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
end up,
yeah.
and it takes energy for them to come to us. Like they're not just
Hmm.
sitting, with their feet swinging, waiting on us to call them. No, it takes
Yeah.
energy. That's why we honor them. That's why we call their name. That's why we feed
Hmm.
them. That's why, we give
Yeah,
thanks for
yeah,
and
yeah.
gratitude to them. So he may recognize her. Actually, he recognizes, I keep saying may, he's like, no. He recognizes her energy from a different space. And so
Yeah,
it's easier for him to
Yeah.
connect to her to get whatever the messages are going to be that he's going to soon start delivering.
yeah. No, it's interesting you say that because she just told me recently. She's like, wherever he was before, he's not there. He's moving
Right.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's what she said, quote unquote. She's like, what? Because I guess he was because of the altar was here, and he was. Even my dogs that knew him, they would lay around the altar.
Yeah.
They would be around the altar, like, specific times they would sit right next to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then not so much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And after she said that, it's like I don't know. I guess he's on to that next phase. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The next step,
Yeah.
moving
Because they
forward.
have
You know?
different levels also.
Yeah.
They have
They
different
do.
processes, different
Yeah.
spaces, and things that they have to do as well. So,
Yeah.
and
It
it,
is levels.
he just recently transitioned,
Yeah.
so he's still trying to figure some things out and sort through some
Yeah. Yeah.
issues
Yeah.
comforting for him.
Do you do you think? I know we're kind of going off topic, but it's all cool. It's all in the same
Yeah,
gumbo
yeah,
It's
yeah.
all
soup.
good.
Um, do you think that a lot of times when people transition, they have to deal with what they dealt in life and kind of fix that first to move on, or kind of get understanding that, or what would
Some,
be exact? Yeah.
yeah, sometimes. It's different for everybody. It's according
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
what the purpose of them coming here was,
Hmm.
If they fulfilled that purpose, then I think sometimes for some of them
Smoother.
it's a little bit smoother. If
Okay. That makes sense.
something happened, because we get to choose, we
Yeah.
come here with a set destination, but we do have outs where, like, okay, I had it, I can't do this anymore, and they give us an
Hmm.
out, but it's also almost like a consequence in that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mm.
everything is still everything is still free will, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's not just it has to go this way. You
Yeah.
have twists and turns, and
Yeah.
because
I see what you're
maybe I
saying.
got to this point, and then okay, I got it this time. Now I get to skip over this so I can jump
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
It's a
Hmm.
lot that's happening for them. So
Hmm.
And
you
those
have to.
experiences, I'm sorry, I cut you.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you're gonna say you have to. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying they were saying like we have to be respectful in their processes as well, and
Yeah.
allow them to have their process, and
Hmm.
allow them to get acclimated to
Mhm.
where they are and what's happening, because they do still have a memory of what's happening here
Yeah.
and what they left behind. It's just they explained to me that how we hurt, like something hurts us, it
Hmm.
doesn't
Hmm.
feel like that for them. It's
Yeah.
more this calm and this peace, and they can just kind of sit back and look at,
Hmm.
okay, I could have done this differently, or this could have gone this way, or hey, I did great with that. But that's not everybody's experience. That's just
Yeah.
whoever is speaking right now is sharing their experience.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense because it's kind of like even here in the physical plane, like when people, if let's say, for example, your car gets hit by a motorcycle, right?
Hmm.
You can have a reaction, be like, "Oh, God damn it!" Man, or you can be like, "Well, I got insurance; they'll take care of it. I'll get a rental, and let's keep it moving."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, and I'm thinking, just in my own personal way of thinking, like, the more spiritually mature, that's I guess way I put it, spiritually mature that we have on this physical plane,
Mhm,
it
mhm.
transcends into that next
Yes,
level.
it does.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
That's
and
exactly
so
what
and
happened.
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you can elevate faster because
Yeah.
Mhm.
you ain't really studying the small stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Exactly.
mhm, mhm. And
Yeah.
even with the
Exactly.
paperwork and things like that, I was going to share. I'm sorry to cut you off earlier, but with regard to these experiences, have it's like a collection for your soul because the soul is
Hmm.
ancient. The soul
Yeah,
is
yeah, exactly,
lifetimes and
exactly.
lifetimes and lifetimes. So these experiences on these physical planes, yes, it's a part of the collection of the things from whatever your souls, because our souls. That's a whole other. That's a whole other topic of conversation
Hmm.
where our souls originate from.
Hmm.
Excuse me. But like to her point, the purpose of it is to ensure that if you fulfill the purpose, great. If you don't, you probably have another incarnation.
Mhm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's why I was kind of like heading to it, kind of going towards like, as far as people ultimately trying to go back home, it's like it's almost like, same thing you were saying about earlier when my the feather, how to, Anupu come see you and like he's like, yo, let's weigh your, feather and see how you were trifling or not, whatever the case may be. But like, if you live a good life here, then why have to go to a certain level to try kind of where you're trying to go because you've learned what you needed to do here so you can,
Exactly.
transcend to the
Exactly.
higher plane, you know,
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
and it's a beautiful way because, you know, it's like once you realize this where you're at now, it's like the bottom of the barrel, not in a negative sense, but when it comes to your experience as your ultimate soul,
Yeah.
your soul, you're like this third dimension is it's a prison, it's some BS. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah. It's hell here. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, compared to what
Your
your
past.
etheric body or your light body might be able to experience on higher levels. So
Exactly.
Very much.
it's this life thing. It's a trip.
It
It
You know what
is.
I'm
is. It
saying?
is.
It's a beautiful thing though, like to learn.
It is. It's so
You
much to
know,
learn. It's more than the ocean worth, and there's levels to it, 'cause it's got like say religion, then you got spirituality, then you got consciousness.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
levels.
yeah, 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 yeah. It's funny just because I look back. Because I'm in my 40s now, so it's like if I go back in my memory and look at myself 10 years and take another 10 years, it's like I'm like, God damn, like it's good because I see the progression,
Yeah.
Hmm.
but at the same time, it's like you think about the stupid stuff you did at those ages. You're like, but it's good because again you see the progression. You see you're not doing it anymore.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully not, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully not. I hope for everybody ain't making the same mistakes. But oh my God, man, y'all, whew, y'all two right here, man. I swear, no, I ain't playing. Y'all on y'all be bringing it. Y'all be bringing it. I swear, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like yeah, I swear because it's
Thank
like
you. Thank you. Thank you.
the
Thank
the
you.
the the um the 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 broadness of your knowledge, because of course we can hear a tantra, but as you know, this whole thing, this conversation, we done talked about 10 different subjects. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's what I like. That's what I like.
Mhm.
And I appreciate y'all.
We
Yes.
Um,
appreciate
Thank
you as
you.
well.
Yes.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'ams. so so yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we'll whenever y'all are ready, we'll do it again. I'm even like I said, I appreciate y'all kind of giving me the floor this time to ask the questions.
Yeah.
But I know there's a lot of information y'all want to speak on. So like I said, it's always, you know, up to y'all how y'all want to, rock with that. And just like I said, hit me up. We want to do it again. And I appreciate it. I love this. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
And
Yes.
you. I do
Thank you.
too. It's
Yes.
amazing.
It is.
So
It
yeah,
is. We
yeah.
definitely enjoy it. So.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna keep on. Yeah, as you see, I'm showing y'all, putting y'all out there, showing it, spreading as
Hey,
much as I
thank
can.
you. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
We
and
love
I'm gonna
it.
keep on doing it. And of course, all their information is in the description. So, and that's the website right there. And feel free to go back. I guess this is technically what our second episode, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Y'all collectively. Doc, we did one before, prior,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, go back to the previous episode, see what we talked about. Now we're going to keep on coming, giving this great information, and look, hopefully we can get down here on here too, and that would be something else, man. We get him on there, we can really like
Oh
kind of
yeah.
all talk about
That'd
that.
be cool.
That would be
Mm-hmm.
dope. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to happen sooner than later. So
Mm-hmm.
that's it on my end. I appreciate y'all, and again, please follow, like, and share. follow these two sisters on like I said, their Instagram and stuff is in my description. Follow them, support them. If you're in Atlanta area, hit them up and get some get some
And it's
some sessions.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
already know.
I know
You
what
already
you're
yeah.
know what I'm doing. Look, it's WrestleMania and they ready. It's WrestleMania and they right over here on the side,
doing.
doing WrestleMania, about to try to do WrestleMania in the office. So
Nice.
y'all wait till WrestleMania. Y'all can wait. Go. Let me talk finish. but yeah, y'all if y'all in Atlanta, hit them up. There's their websites. They got packages. They got all that good stuff and they're here to help you. So
Absolutely.
that's
Yes.
it
Yes.
for me. And
Yes.
until next time, I appreciate
Thank
y'all. Peace and
Thank
love.
you.
you. Bye.
Hold on.